you know, okay, that's great. Number 10, 10, yeah, makes sense. But that's not. I mean, the crowd was happy, but it was not like, whoa, that's incredible. What a nostalgic moment that is. And I don't want to see that keep happening every year either. So he comes out with the perfect 10. However, he was supposed to have drawn that backstage in that lottery thing. I do not know. So there you go. That we're led to believe he's just so good at the perfect 10. He can pick it out without seeing it as well. And you know, he's coming down. And then we get James Ellsworth coming in. And is that another moment we're supposed to think, oh my God, you know, James Ellsworth's in this as well. And listen, I love James Ellsworth. I think he's done well for himself. But, you know, the reactions I think they thought they were going to get on paper were not quite the same in reality. And I got to say, really disappointed that we didn't see any legends, or for that matter, any of the big NXT guys like Joe. I was kind of really holding out for him, or even the return of Finn Balor. Like, there was no real returns to it either, Matt, really, in this. So that was, as a sum up of that was quite disappointing for me. Listen, Braun Strowman, he eliminated the most people, but it wasn't anywhere close to what Roman done. With 12, it wasn't. I think was it 7 that he eliminated? I think in total, might be wrong on that, but I'm sure it was around the 7 mark. What did you make of Braun Strowman's outing, Matt? And does it cement Braun as more of a legit guy? You know, that we're really looking at this guy now like a big deal. Like he'd already, got involved with the main event earlier, and then now he's coming out and just sort of squashing everybody. He had some tear ups with Mark Henry and of course the Big Show. Was it a good outing? Or are we going to remember the way we need to remember Braun in this one?
It was kind of like a rumble of monsters in this. There was a hell of a lot of big men in this rumble. Probably the most big men I've seen in a Royal Rumble. So, of course, Braun took like the brunt of that and actually made himself the most dominant one of the first half, I'd say. And it's pretty good. I say he did enough there to get himself noticed. Not that he hasn't been already, but yeah, this is definitely one of the highlights of his career. The amount of men that he went through in this, and the big men that he fought with. But I got to say, like, the thing that I remember most about Braun in this, though, is that he got eliminated by Corbin, and I was like, what? I was like, really? I was like, oh man, good work to Corbin. Then someone likes him. He's got the nod from someone, and I think that's great.
Yeah, is Baron Corbin the guy that can win battle royals and things? Is he cemented himself? Established himself? Is that good now? I don't know. It was interesting because you think about it, Matt. Baron Corbin is kind of like a heel, heel on heel. It's very odd that they went with him to do it. So, but definitely put him over nicely, didn't it? And again, surpassing that, we went on to some more. Like we had the guys like the Miz and Big E, Kofi Kingston was in there. He done a little spot, Cesaro. I mean, that was just for me though, Matt. That was when I was starting to sort of get a bit bored with it. When Apollo Crews, I was just sort of thinking, okay, we haven't seen any of those big guys in. So for me, it was a little bit like it was always going to be top heavy. Do you think in the end, like they didn't kind of spread them out where it needed to be?
Yeah, no, there was some like odd timing of when people were coming in, other than like the whole thing of where we see the Nemesis versus Nemesis kind of stuff. There's just so many other things though as well at this point. I spent the entire Rumble waiting for Kane. I was waiting, and I was like, when's he going to come out? Come on. It'd be so great if he continues his record. I don't know how many Rumbles he's been in. It's something like ridiculous, like 17 or something now, isn't it?
And he just didn't show up.
No.
So he wasn't there. And then, listen, we get to... I'm trying to think where the numbers... I mean, really and truly... Matt, when 23 hit Randy Orton, that's when I started to think, okay, things are going to start picking up now. But 23, you've gone through 23 guys. Like it seemed like a lot to get to that. Like they could have had him come in a little bit earlier with Bray Wyatt, and those two could have got through it because they would have been helping each other out. Like I do feel like it was just let's just get them out at the end type of thing, and let's work it from there. We had Dolph Ziggler coming in. You know, he got a few little nice moments with him. The Luke Harper thing, Matt, like I felt WWE were trying to get more of a reaction from that than they actually got. What did you make of that in the match with Bray? And is that a little tease maybe that's a potential feud before we even get to Mania?
Well, that was a bit weird because I thought that was over when Bray Wyatt flattened him anyway. So I was kind of thinking they're coming back and then now they're working as a team. Like that was the bit that confused me. I was kind of like, no way. And the looks that Randy Orton was giving him, like, you're not part of our gang anymore. It was a bit obvious. So I wasn't that surprised at all when he turned on him. I thought, well, that was a bit obvious. Do it to them before they hit you again because. I thought that was already settled previously, but apparently not. They thought that was another thing they had to clarify at the Rumble. Not surprising at all, that bit. Yep.
Okay, so so with that, he was in at 25. 26 then, Matt, Brock Lesnar comes in, and of course we're all thinking, a little bit like last year, we're waiting for Suplex City, but I mean, he must have, what did he only eliminate one person, I think? Something like that. Like, he didn't do a lot, and of course it was all sort of waiting, I guess, to Here's the thing I didn't like, Matt, and I felt really sorry for him because this is not a good sign. When I saw, was it trying to think, Enzo Amore, who come out at 27. For me, I don't know what you thought about Matt, but I thought, oh no, it's already happened. Enzo's got the comedy role here. He's got the Santino Marella spot. He's not even going to be taken. That was a comedy moment when he done that. That was the moment you'd see a guy like Santino do it, or I don't know, that exercise guy. You'd see someone like that. The fact that Enzo Amore is doing it, I felt sorry for the guy because he's better than that. He really is better than that. But I feel like they've already gone to making Enzo have those spots. Like, he's not even been in it a year. Which is worrying for me because that guy is so talented, but I just think WWE won't look at him like that. Like Enzo Amore, he could be one of the best cruiserweight guys they'd ever have, but are they going to take him serious? He should really be in the whole 205 thing when he splits up. We should be looking at that cruiserweight title as a big title, and thinking about him and Austin Aries and Neville and all the rest of it. He's up there with those guys, but when I see that spot given to him, I'm worrying. Quite frankly, for his future.
Definitely a shame that they did that to him. But then again, they wanted to have that spot, and I don't think there was many other people that would be more suited to it because I can't look at Enzo now like Scrappy Doo. He's like the little guy who will take on anyone, and of course there is an element of realism to that. Like, okay, there was a comedy bit to it, but he will take on anyone. So if we believe that, then he shouldn't be afraid of Brock. But in reality, when you're that kind of size and you're going to fight a man of Brock's kind of size, there's no shame in actually being destroyed.
Absolutely. Now, then 28 hits, and of course Goldberg, Matt, is there. Was you worried about Goldberg going into this, Matt? About what he could do?
I got to say, when the Rumble kicked off, this was my one thing that I was saying constantly throughout. As I said, if Goldberg is anywhere near the 30 spot, I'll be peed off. I don't want to see that. And of course, because it's just playing up to it, isn't it? And the whole thing that this guy doesn't really have the stamina to go anywhere. And of course, he would be short-lived because, again, I'm always questioning his stamina.
And then we saw, the jackhammer to Sammy, Orton and Bray, they start trying to go for Goldberg, but he spears them as well. Then 29 hits, Matt, and it's The Undertaker. So he comes down, but literally he's there. I don't know if you saw that picture, Matt, of the van that took them all down for most of these guys. That I posted up on my Facebook earlier. That's hilarious.
I saw the picture of that, and I thought, is that a meme? Is that supposed to be comedy? Because these guys are quite old and big. But then I was actually, wait a minute, no, that's actually real? They rode a little car thing?
Unbelievable.
Crazy.
It was a huge rampway. I'm not gonna doubt that, but bloody hell, for them to get steamed out before they even get there is crazy. So yeah, Undertaker's already in there. He's waiting for this thing. You know, his lights go on, and then he gets involved. What did you make? Because then, you know, before we get to the next part of it, we have Goldberg. I think Goldberg had then eliminated Brock. Is that right, Matt? Before 30 came, I think that happened then.
Yeah, I think as soon as Goldberg got in there, it was just like explosive, wasn't it? The spear again, and then like the elimination that nobody really wanted to see. Maybe they did. Maybe just me.
What did you make of them doing that again, Matt? Like, okay, once is good and shocking. Now you're going to do it again in the Rumble. Slightly disappointing, Matt, when the whole build to it has been it's going to be absolute war in the Rumble, and it really wasn't. I mean, not even a move put into each guy. I mean, it was just literally, thank you very much, a spear, and he's out again. I mean, I don't know what I make of it. I mean, I'm not that disappointed as I was the first time round, because I knew that this could happen. So I guess I don't really care about it too much. But it seemed pretty pointless to have all that build for something that was nothing in the end of it. I'm not saying that the total payoff won't. Maybe the whole payoff, just you think, oh, that was really worth it. But for me, it was just, I didn't really take too much of it. I wasn't too bothered. Probably because I didn't expect too much. But it was painful to see how fast it all finished. You know, not to have Brock in maybe even the final four with Goldberg or something like that. You know, it was over very fast. And you know, much like Survivor Series, just done and dusted. What was your take on that, Matt?
I was expecting it to be, like you said, like a total war in there between them two. We knew they would have to collide in there at some point. I was just kind of like expecting too much of it. I kind of thought that they would get their bit over and done with in the first half of the Rumble, and then after that we could focus on other winners. But the fact that it was so close to the end as well was a little bit disappointing. I was just kind of like, well, you know, where do we go from here now? I was kind of worried. I was kind of thinking, oh, wait a minute, that means Goldberg's in with a chance of winning this. I was like, I'm not too sure. I want to see or what guy he's going to face at WrestleMania, you know, that's going to be like 20 years younger than him.
Yeah. So Miz then attacks Taker and all the rest of it. And then at number 30, Matt, now who was you expecting here? When you know the Undertaker's already out there, who did you have in your mind could be that number 30?
I was still waiting for Kane. I was like, okay, they've given like 29 to the Undertaker. I was like, okay, so that's the thing. I think Kane isn't exactly a big name. I mean, he's always been there. But I was thinking maybe they're going to do something else with him. Maybe this is going to be something between him and Undertaker. Maybe a reuniting. Or maybe, like, I don't know, maybe they will have another fight against each other at some point. I was just thinking something will change, surely. Or, failing that, my other little thing was, like, I've been waiting ages for Samoa Joe, but I was thinking, how much are they willing to invest in Samoa Joe if he's coming out at number 30 with people like Undertaker in there and Goldberg and that? What, you know, are they still, like, going to actually look at him like to be the next monster in that case? But I can tell you who I wasn't expecting, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I think I'm with you there as well. I mean, let's put it this way, Matt. You know, God Almighty. I mean, I was thinking to myself, could it be Finn Balor at last? Could it be Triple H? Is he going to put himself in this and sort of like, you know, that's sort of like a one-up on Seth, and Seth could come down and. Yeah, I was just thinking all kinds of things, but what I was not thinking of, Matt, was what they gave us. I mean, when you talk about giving you a shock, it's not the sort of shock you want. It's a horrible one. When I saw Roman Reigns running down and him coming out, I was like, oh my God. They are glutting for punishment here. They really are. And not only did Roman Reigns come down, like, let's put it this way, Matt. Roman Reigns, in a storyline sense, he'd been beaten up in a no DQ match with thousands of chairs. You know, Braun Strowman took him out, but he's out there like $1 million. You know, nothing is stopping this guy. He's not selling anything to me of an injury, and he just went in there and desecrated so many guys. Like he eliminated quite a few guys, and I mean, what? Before we get to the point, I think you know where I'm getting to. What did you think